Good morning from the Great Ocean Road.
We are here bright and early and it is very, very cold. The air is just freezing.
Yeah, we may regret doing the Great Ocean Road in winter.
I guess we'll see over the next couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we're going to go for a swim anyway. The water is quite rough, yeah.
So at first... I was about to talk and Wehan said he would clean the van while I filmed it, and look at him. So if you hear weird noises in the background, Wehan's cleaning our window. He's like, oh, I'll go quickly clean it while you film, and it's noisy and distracting me. But our first stop there was the Bay of Islands, and I wanted to kind of share what the Great Ocean Road is for anyone who doesn't know. If you're in Australia, it's very likely you know about the Great Ocean Road. It's one of the most iconic drives in Australia. Obviously, we've done one, the Nullarbor, and this is another one. It is so iconic. If you know anything about Vic tourism, I feel like Great Ocean Road is pushed so much. So basically, the Great Ocean Road runs from Allansford to Torquay, and it's 243 kilometers long, and it runs basically along the coast, and it goes to some really iconic spots along the way. The Great Ocean Road is actually the world's longest war memorial because it was actually built by World War I veterans. So got a lot of history behind it and some really beautiful spots. We can't wait to show you. You ready to go to our next spot yet, Mr.
It's still
Window
bloody
Cleaner?
dirty. It's bloody difficult to clean. And I don't know what this is, but it's inside. Like, how does that even happen?
You're embarrassing.
You wanted me to dance for you?
We've made it to our second stop, and this is the London Bridge. You can probably just see behind me. Now Wehan's blocking it. But basically, this is a natural archway that was caused obviously by the power of the ocean, making that archway, but it used to be connected here, and you actually used to be able to walk over and go onto the archway. But in 1990, it actually collapsed, and there were people on it when it collapsed. So they ended up having to be rescued by helicopter.
Yeah.
Which, can you imagine that? They got stuck on the normal part that didn't collapse, like on the bridge bit.
Yeah.
But could you imagine if everything just caves in front of you and you're like, oh, I'm stuck here?
I mean, this phone signal out here.
Still,
probably
it collapses under your feet.
Now that I
Would
think
you not
about it,
think
if it's
everything was going to?
1990s, it was very rare that people would have phones.
But what's kind of wild as well is like the ocean is just so strong here.
Yeah.
The waves are next level.
And that's why there's all these archways and stacks. What do they call them? Yeah, stacks.
Yeah, sea stacks.
Sea stacks, because obviously the waves beat down the soft limestone, and
It's powerful.
then what you're left with is the hard limestone, which is like mostly fossilized animals and whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Pretty bloody impressive.
Yeah.
Got in the van, and what did you say to me, Wehan?
I don't even have phone signal. I'm trying to navigate to the next spot. There's nothing. So wasn't much of a drive. I feel like everything on Great Ocean Road is like so close together. But we are at Thunder Cave, which you might be wondering, why is it called Thunder Cave? And it's because as the waves of the ocean go into the cave, it makes this thunder noise. Obviously with like the force and the power that it has. But It used to have an archway, just like the London Bridge, that has collapsed due to rainwater and obviously the strength of the ocean. Just like every single limestone place, eventually it erodes and collapses. But it's pretty cool looking. What? It's pretty cool looking. And apparently still, I think 15 meters down in the underwater, you can see the blocks of the archway that I used to have. But I would not dare to go under there because, yeah, it does not look safe.
This really gives me like deja vu to the Gap and the actual power of the ocean you would feel. It's definitely less windy here. So this lookout, I don't know if we got lucky.
Way less windy.
I don't know how, because it obviously is winter, but I think we got a pretty good day where it's not that windy, it's just a little chilly. Way less windier than the Gap, but the power of the ocean feels the same. Like you're looking down and just feeling how wild that water is, and obviously everywhere here has been created because of the power of the ocean, which was like the same at the Gap. So it's really cool.
Add that in the actual channel, it's not as strong as it is at the Gap, but it kind of gets broken down because of the inlet here.
Yeah.
But you can definitely hear it further up on the walking trail, the Thunder Cave, because everywhere like limestone, it's like channels and caves and whatever. So I'm assuming that that just continues on.
Yeah.
And it's much louder further up than it is here. But you can actually see the water level rise quite a bit as the tide comes in and goes out.
Yeah.
So it's
I mean,
cool.
the waves out here are definitely stronger than they were at the Gap, I reckon. Not in this section, but like the actual
coast.
waves out by the coast and like
100%.
at all the area we've driven past, the waves are massive, like massive. Look at those waves off in the distance. They are wild.
They're definitely the biggest waves I've seen in quite a while.
Far out. That was the most touristy spot I think we've been to the whole lap. So,
yeah, 100%. It was so busy.
So busy. We went to Loch Ard Gorge and Razorback.
Yeah.
And we were going to film there, but it was so packed with people like yelling and trying to take pictures. And it was just so busy. And I know the 12 Apostles are probably going to be worse.
Yeah, 100%.
But
I feel like it was even more frustrating when people were just stood in pathways to take photos,
So,
not at lookouts.
the first spot you get to is to go down to the beach access.
Yeah.
And it was closed, so everyone was just stood on that path that leads to the beach path, like trying to take photos. It was chaos. And then when we went off to the side, some of the lookouts were better, but it was just huge groups of people. So we thought we'd just film in the car and then show you all the footage.
Yeah.
But
The significance of the Loch Ard
Gorge.
Loch
You're getting
Ard
your words.
Gorge.
Loch Ard Gorge was actually named after a ship, Loch Ard, which was wrecked there.
Yeah.
And there were actually 54 passengers and sadly only 2 survivors. And they were Tom and Ava.
Yeah.
So I think Tom was one of the cabin crew, and then Ava was visiting with her family, or she was traveling with her family. And they were both quite young, and they were the only 2 survivors. And Tom got washed onto the shore and heard Ava screaming for help and went back out and helped pull her back in. And it's just really sad, but it's a beautiful spot. And they had a lookout which was called Tom and Ava's Lookout.
Yeah.
And we got to check out Razorback, which was really cool.
And they also had a little cemetery to honor those that, did perish in the wreckage.
Yeah, so they had that cemetery with the plaque and everything, but they only managed to recover 4 of the bodies. Yeah. So those people were actually buried there.
And I'm assuming their family members are buried there as well.
Yeah.
Later on date, because there were some other graves there as well.
Yes. But one thing we have to add. No photo is ever worth risking your life.
It's ridiculous. And we did not touch on this at the Grampians, but at the what's it called? The
Barocca Lookout.
The Barocca Lookout. Everywhere sorry, there's a bird, and it's the blue. The blue wren that I can't get a clip of. But the Barocca Lookout is, like, if you look on Instagram, the photo spot that people pose on and whatever is behind a fence, and a lot of people have actually died, like climbing over it and taking a photo. When
we went to Loch Ard, we were at like a further back lookout, and there was one guy who kept climbing over fences, and he would
pose on top
right
of a fence
to the
post.
edge.
And it's also not just, risking your own life. It's also taking away the opportunity from other people to see the places. If you do fall, it's also,
damaging the environment.
Yeah, because limestone, if you don't know, like it relies on vegetation to stay structurally sound. If you stand on it, it'll die back, and obviously it'll perish.
Yeah.
But there was a guy, he stood on a fence post, was posing, which is not that far away from the actual cliff edge.
Yeah.
And then he also climbed over it and stood on the cliff edge multiple times.
Multiple different stops. And he was right on the edge, and I was like, this man is gonna fall. That limestone is so unstable.
You can see hairline cracks all along the cliffs.
And especially when the beach access is closed, because there has been recent movement at the top that shows that there might be issues at the lower area.
I think the worst thing as well is there's signage everywhere that say, don't
stay on the tracks.
I also don't feel like that location's really like a photo op location.
Yeah.
It's more of a paying your respects and like, it's...
Yeah.
Yeah. Enough.
I think the worst part sometimes of tourist attractions will always be the tourists. I know it's bad to say because we're tourists, but just the people who don't respect the wildlife or the environment or themselves or each other. It's just a little bit frustrating.
Rescue people or
who have to go
paramedics
sort them out.
Yeah.
It was really a beautiful spot, and it was very impressive. The sea stacks, the cliffs that are everywhere are just...
Yeah, and I can't imagine the bravery that Tom would have had to like go
swim back out there.
He must have been exhausted from even swimming to the coast.
Yeah.
Like, to do that's
amazing.
Like, hats off.
Yeah.
Also, we forgot to mention that there are over 638 shipwrecks in the ocean along the Great Ocean Road, and it just shows how powerful and dangerous the ocean is along this section of coastline.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get a shot of a blue wren. Will he ever get one?
I mean, I feel like the one in Tower Hill for a split second, it was alright.
It was beautiful. See, Vian? We can still swim with the giant cuttlefish. Jump in.
I think I would much rather drive to drive to Whyalla and then swim in these waters.
We made it to the 12 Apostles! Probably the most iconic spot on the Great Ocean Road.
And in Victoria, I would say.
Oh, massive attraction in Victoria. We made it! Super busy, but and windy.
Super windy.
The audio was way too windy here, but I was saying that the 12 Apostles were first known as sow and piglets. They were also referred to as the Pinnacles and the 12 Apostles before the official name change. Also, from this viewing area, you can only see 7 sea stacks after one collapsed in 2005. We have made the walk out to Gibson Steps, which basically are steps that bring us down the cliff face and onto the beach, so we are ground level with the sea stacks. You can actually see how impressive and how big they are. You may be able to hear the ocean behind me. It is very powerful and wild. But the 2 sea stacks behind me that you can hopefully see are Magog and Gog, and it's really cool to actually be here and see how tall and impressive they are. But This is our last spot before we head back to the 12 Apostles for sunset for something hopefully very exciting. I think Vian's search for a blue wren may have been successful this time. It was almost as if he was posing for you.
That's the first time. Hopefully,
What?
Hopefully I got him in focus, because I had to put the manual focus on and focus it manually.
He literally just stopped in front of you and cleaned himself. That is amazing. So beautiful.
I'm so excited.
We're gonna watch sunset at the 12 Apostles, and also apparently there's a colony of little penguins who actually live there.
And not a little colony,
A big one, like hundreds. And apparently at just, I think like 20 minutes after sunset, you can see them scuttling back from the ocean and going to their, what do you call them, burrows?
Yeah, but at the moment, I think it's between June and August. It's only the male penguins that come here, and they like renovate the already
They
existing
get the
burrows.
nests ready.
Yeah. So we're not sure if the whole colony would be here or just the males. We have a little glimmer of hope though, because both, what is the other place?
London Bridge.
At London Bridge and
Yes.
here, we actually saw little paw prints on the sand. And
We saw little penguin feet prints. Or we think they're
That
penguin
is-
feet.
what else can there be? There can't be
Birds?
humans. Birds leave
Other
footprints
birds,
like
like
that.
seabirds. It
That
looked
many.
like
It
penguin
looked like
feet.
penguin feet.
So
Like especially the...
we have a lot of hope. But I've been searching through the reviews on Google and
Nothing.
like all the posts on Instagram and everything for the last like month, and there's been no mention of penguins. So, but I feel like a lot of people just don't know about it.
And I mean, as we've already seen, it seems like a lot of people don't really come here for sunset. They might just be off season, choose their arvo, though.
Well, we don't know that yet. Suddenly loads of people may arrive for sunset.
Potentially.
But while we've been here for like an hour, it started raining.
Yeah.
Like just started raining. The whole sky is cloudy now, so I don't know if the sunset will actually look good, but we're kind of hoping it deters people so it gets quieter.
Because it was really busy there.
So busy.
Like, we didn't really show it, but we did mention it earlier.
Yes, super, super, super busy. So we're hoping it's deterred people. We've got our rain jackets and we're gonna go out and hope for the best. I think we may be in luck. This was packed before. And now a lot of the cars have gone.
I mean, it's a couple closer, but like, this is so much emptier already.
So much quieter. Even this, like this whole Long Bay area was completely full.
That's so good.
Fingers crossed. Penguins, man. We saw penguins.
They went like this.
The waddled. Little waddlers. They were so beautiful. We saw penguins.
If you can't tell.
We saw penguins. We had lost all hope.
Okay, so I'll explain
Go
from
for
my
it,
point of view first. So I was playing around with the camera, kind of lost hope, and I was like, oh crap, it's getting way too dark. It was pretty much pitch black.
Yeah.
And
No, but before you get to that, before it got pitch black, we were kind of losing hope. We were like, alright, it's definitely after 20 minutes after sunset. Nothing's here. It's getting dark.
Yeah.
And then a family rocked up, and the dad was like, yeah, just wait. Like, the kids are like, where are they? Where are they? And the dad was like, just wait. They'll appear out of nowhere.
yeah,
And I was like, this guy is so sure that
you had like
they're gonna rock
binoculars
up.
and everything. So
He was like, and the kids were like, no, they're not here yet. And he's like, they'll definitely be here. Just wait. And he was like giving us hope, I think.
yeah.
Anyway, so it got dark.
It got dark, and I was like playing around with the camera. I'm like, it's not focusing on seagulls. There were seagulls there. And we're like, oh.
And it wouldn't focus on the seagulls anymore, and the footage started looking like crap. So I was playing around with the camera settings, like putting in manual focus and changing the dynamic range and whatever. So the footage, I'm just gonna warn you, it's gonna be crap.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Well,
The footage will look like crap, but you can see them.
But you will see the penguins, and that's all that matters. And then all of a sudden, I just saw black. I was like, what? What is that?
Appeared out of nowhere.
I was still, like, I literally just finished the camera settings, and then all of a sudden, in the frame of the camera, because I was in the menu, it was black. And I was like, what? Like, right before it was just seagulls.
Yeah.
I changed settings in the menu, got off the menu, and then it's black. And I'm like, what? And then Lydia at the same time was like, what? And I was like, what?
They just appeared in this, like, cloud.
It was wild.
Like, so many
Unlike
of them.
anything I've ever seen,
Same.
right?
It was like just this black blob, like a cloud. And then suddenly there were just loads.
And you couldn't even see them in the water either.
No, they
it's just
appeared.
straight up.
And then they were walking in a line.
And there was a huge, like, very definitive line in the sand that they've made.
From
and
all
it's
their
still there.
footsteps. Oh my god.
It's so sweet.
Funny thing is, I didn't plan on seeing the penguins, like, when I did the research. And then a couple of days ago when we had a re-look at everything just to refresh our memory, I saw a thing saying there was little penguins there, and I was like,
no way.
No way.
You never hear about it.
Never hear about it. That is one of the most underrated, like, hidden gems of the Great Ocean Road.
100%.
That was amazing.
To me, the penguins were definitely the highlight.
We may be a little biased because we love wildlife experiences, but it felt like the whole day was so busy.
Yeah.
Everywhere
it's
we
super
went.
overwhelming.
It was definitely overwhelming, and I felt anywhere we went, there were huge groups of people just trying to get pictures, and you couldn't really just sit there and enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, usually when we're at spots, we're really... Even Tower Hill, for example, we walked through that trail almost in silence, like just looking around and taking
really
everything
soaking
in.
everything in.
Exactly, and I felt like you just couldn't do that because
There's constant yelling,
mobs of people,
constantly taking
photos coming in next to you, coming up like right
pushing
onto
against
you, like
you.
trying
It's
to get. It was so busy. That is 100% the busiest spot we've been at our whole time traveling. The Apostles were great. Like, obviously the Apostles are the like highlight of the Great Ocean Road for a lot of people, and that's really what the tourism board pushes.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
I would say that was probably lower down on the day for me, just because it was so busy. And I found even our first stop, the Bay of Islands, Islands or Isles? I'm gonna be so wrong. Bay of Islands, yes. Yeah. So at Bay of Islands, I found you were still able to see the sea stacks and be like, whoa, that's impressive.
And there was
one of a person.
There was an example of like an archway. There's an example of stacks. There's examples of everything that we saw on the Great Ocean Road. Like right in that one spot. And it's quiet.
And it was a lot quieter. So look, I'm so glad we went and did all of those spots. They were a must, but I definitely enjoyed some of the quieter spots a bit more. Yeah. And the penguins were like... We've driven to kind of a dodgy campsite. I don't even know if you call this a campsite. It's on WikiCamps. It's like a random gravel area off the main road.
So, Great Ocean Road here, and then it's like a little turn off. I would say
it seems fine.
The ground is compacted pretty well with gravel, it seems like it's very much intended for this purpose.
It's a decent size. No one else is here. It's empty.
It's flat. Level.
We'll get to explore the Great Ocean Road more. All the rest of it. The old way.
Yeah, probably the more popular section, except for the 12 Apostles.
Yeah.
And
I'm excited. Anyway, we'll get to explore all of that, and we'll show you guys that very soon.
Yeah. Thank you for watching.
Thanks for joining us.
And if you enjoy penguins, and if you like penguins...
Who doesn't like penguins?
Hit the like button.
Could you imagine someone being like, I don't like penguins? Oh my gosh. Can you see any of me?
Oh my gosh.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Well?
The footage will look like crap, but you can see them.
They just appeared.
They keep falling over.
they're like a big black spot.
They
Maybe
just
lost
left
it.
like a huge line of tracks. That's insane how quick they were.
It's
Look
too
at them all go up.
when you have a go.
Are
They
they
left like a huge line.
see?
For what?